Hello YouTube, and welcome to episode 1 in the Kabukimonogatari reaction series, that being a large part of the second season of the Monogatari reaction series. Still very much a mouthful. But I'm back, happy holidays everybody, hope you didn't miss me in the week off too much, but yeah, back recording some Monogatari today. Right off the bat, there's one production note that I should talk about. I recently got a new light. It is a gamer light. I can change the color on said light. I think this looks about like it normally does, but if I wanted to do some weird colors, I could, but I don't think that'd just be distracting. I don't know. But yeah, I got a gamer light for Christmas because I'm a gamer. So I don't know if that's very relevant, but that's why the lighting's slightly different. I can change it if you want me to. Rightio, gonna jump right into our little comment summary right now. The first note of the comments that I really noticed was the general appreciation for Guyan's character design. Very trendy looking young lady, is apparently older than the others considering I think Kaganui called her senpai, but certainly looks younger than them as well, especially Kaiki, who looks almost middle-aged even though he isn't. Wondering what they're trying to say there. I asked who the character designer was, you guys said Wolfan, apparently he's Taiwanese. And somebody sent a bunch of stuff on Discord of his character designs, and I found it quite interesting actually, especially kind of the early ones of Araragi and the rest of the characters in Monogatari. Guyan is also a very meta-y character who's a bit of a know-it-all and is very wordy, so it's a Nisio Asin character, yes. And certainly a character to watch going forward, considering it's a continuation of the whole real-fake senpai situation we have going on. What is it, Oshinomeme, Kaiki, Kaganui, and now Guyan. They've all got their different views on how things should be. And we have our kind of thing going on with those three, the three that we already know, and then Guyan in the mix. How do we reconcile somebody that knows everything with a morality system? I don't know. We're going to see. I think it'll be interesting either way. These points were brought up by Gian Bueno, Alexander Dunkelheit, Protector of Ruby, and Simon. Had a lot of stuff explaining the wordplay from Nisio Asin as well. He is genuinely insane at it, and apparently even some Japanese watchers don't understand everything that he does, so I don't know how I even have a chance. But you guys are helping, which is nice. So Gian Bueno commented that Yaku as jealousy into Yaku as roast. That's how Hanakawa makes the connection between the two, the kind of fiery feelings of the tiger and her jealousy. Makes sense, I think. I think Kramer brought up one that I could probably even understand. I think it was Tora as tiger into Taruma, which is the Japanese translation of the English word trauma. So that's how we get that connection there, the trauma tiger. And then MC Steve dropped a very long comment, very insightful comment about the different connections there. A lot of it went over my head, but I'm going to bring it up here and see if I have anything to say about it. The Hysteria tiger comes from the parable, which is tyranny, which is Kansei, which is more fierce than a tiger. And that's the connection there. That's why they call it the Hysteria tiger into the History tiger. Also brings up the Tora Toroma thing, telling the story of Yaoya Oshichi, which is a setup for a later part involving the passionate feelings of the Fire Sisters and connecting that to fire. Apparently she tried to burn a bunch of stuff because of her love. And then there's apparently a fire horse pun somewhere in there as well, and fire makes horses go crazy, plus tiger horse. It's a lot, is all I'm trying to get at, but I continue to appreciate your efforts either way, MC Steve. I like this comment from Gian Bueno as well, kind of the confession scene interpreted more as Araragi being proud of Hanakawa for actually saying it rather than the surprise of it actually happening. Because back in Tsubasa Cat, way back in the day, he knows that Hanakawa likes him, right? It's not a secret to him, so when she comes out and says it, it's more of a growth for Hanakawa and some pride from that rather than the actual surprise of being confessed to. Gian Bueno also sent me some epilogue-y stuff that was cut, and I read it on Discord, and it was quite nice. There was some conversations with Shinobu that I liked, but the conversation that I really kind of zeroed in on was the Senjogahara Hanakawa one, implying a way bigger connection between the two. They're basically besties now. I always find it funny what people cut and what people keep in, so we're keeping in a whole bunch of the other stuff that I think we should have cut from, say, Neko Monogatari Kuro, and then we're going to cut this. I don't know, there's some decisions to be made for sure. Furthermore, just in our kind of topic on the novels in general, apparently there's a really long version of Hanakawa's letter to herself that is like 40 minutes long when read aloud, which I don't know what that translates into page length, but longer than it is in the anime either way. Apparently there's a video of Hanakawa's VA reading said letter as well. Maybe something that I can watch once I'm done with the series, because I just don't want to be spoiled on anything, just, comment sections and all that. That was brought up by G-Bird and Hot Wheels Kid. I had a couple questions about the preview quizzes, little previews at the end of episodes, and why I'm doing what I'm doing. One, the main purpose is that I don't know when arcs start and end, so episode 5 last week could have been like Hanakawa Super Tiger, and I would have been like, whoa, Hanakawa Super Tiger, that's awesome. So it's more of like a just in case thing of being spoiled on stuff that happens next. Either way, the second point, I just think they're kind of lame. A lot of them go over my head. I don't really go back and read them. If there's some particularly good ones, please let me know, because I will watch them through, but I don't know. It is what it is. Unless there's something post-creditsy that I should see, I'm probably just going to continue to skip them. I love this comment here from Evgeny Kuzenkov, which goes against the popular opinion a little bit. I really like these kind of comments. He kind of says in summary that it's his least favorite arc in the set so far and extremely mean to Hanakawa. Kind of has some negative feelings about this kind of accepting of the negative sides of herself into herself and doesn't see anything wrong with separating them. I really zeroed in on the last point of his comment though, which is given in the following seasons, various narrators still see her on the moral high ground. Becoming whole, she still skillfully controls her emotions, so what's the point? And this made me think, I'm like, hey, maybe that's some actually good, genuine criticism. I would like to see Hanakawa's character change a little bit now that she's not trying to be perfect all the time. I picked up this in the little segment that I read on Discord, the little bit of the epilogue that was missed in the adaptation. Once Hanakawa accepts these other things into herself, she starts snapping at Senjugahara more, she starts crying a little bit more, she is sometimes short, she sometimes laughs really hard, all these really natural emotions for somebody her age. And I thought that was great. I thought that was some genuine development in that area. But if in the adaptation all we see going forward is just the same old Hanakawa, then that's going to be a little bit lame, I think. We're going to have to see. I don't know if Evgeny Kuzenkov is correct. We're going to have to see, but I thought it was an interesting point regardless. There was also a general theme in the comments, probably my last point here, that the mum is not visible to Araragi. She kind of reminds me of early Senjugahara a little bit. I think Kramer brought that up before Senjugahara became kind of a weirdo. But yeah, it's interesting thinking about that in the implied kind of segment at the start of high school for Araragi, where he started going off the rails a little bit. Did the mother perhaps move attention to the sisters a little bit more and leave him in the wake, and then he's, processing this abandonment a little bit? I don't know. It's a tough one. I wonder if he'll ever see the mother. I wonder if she's relevant to anything that's going on. I wonder if that connection is going to remain severed. I genuinely have no idea. So normally here I'll do a recap. I don't think a recap is especially relevant for reasons I'll explain now in my prediction segment. I don't think we're going to be continuing on from this arc, if that makes any sense. I think we're going back to the start of the arc where Araragi is not to be seen. I think we're going to follow Araragi's side of the story. This means less Senjugahara, less Hanakawa, which is sad, but we get to focus a little bit more on the other girls. So some things that were brought up in Nekomonogatari Shiro that need to be explored here. Hachikuji ? Gaian? Kambaru? What happened to the cram school? Severing connection with Shinobu? What the hell is Episode and Yotsugi doing here? Why is his shirt in tatters and he has heartspan at the end? Why was that 10 seconds right there at the very end extremely important? I don't know. We're going to have to see. There's lots of different setups for Araragi going forward, so we'll see what happens there. The other thing I wanted to kind of predict about is Kabukimonogatari. It's the only indicator that I have as to what's actually going on in this season. Or this season, this arc, I should say. I've literally got this off Wikipedia. Kabuki is a classical form of Japanese dance drama. Kabuki theater is known for its heavily stylized performances, the often glamorous costumes worn by performers, and for the elaborate kumadori makeup worn by some of its performers. It's kind of this very white shade, I believe. I thought Kabuki was also masks, but maybe I'm incorrect there. I have no idea which character this relates to. It's not like it's called Nekomonogatari and I can make a connection immediately. But perhaps it's a continuation of our stage metaphor we had going on before. Are we all performers on the stage? Are we all in glamorous makeup and masks? Maybe we need to pull said masks down? Gonna have to see. But if I had to make a general prediction as to whose arc it is, I would probably say Hachikuji, because she's implied to be very important in what Araragi was doing, so maybe it's Araragi's arc, I don't know. Either way, we're going to jump in right now, but not before I do my shill stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And Discord, join the Discord, love the Discord, give me extra information on the Discord, all these other things. And yeah, gonna jump into the first episode of Kabukimonogatari right now. Rightio, got episode 1 of Kabukimonogatari up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on screen. 26 minutes and 29 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. As always, there will be a picture-in-picture version below, and I'm using the Cole Girls subs. Yeah, no need to stand on ceremony, just gonna jump into episode 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Colors. Afternoon. Oh. Okay. Yes, senpai. Yes. Who the hell is this? Who the hell is this? Something about stoplights? The music's kind of nuts, too. You seem sinister. Am I stupid? Is this a new character? Okay. I remember traffic lights way back to the first moment of episode 1. Senpai? Okay. Okay. Safe over dangerous. Ha 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 ha. Something about real and fake? Dichotomies? Right and wrong? Contradictions? Well, kind of. Well, actually, no, that's exactly correct. I don't know about half. What a weird conversation. The music's gone crazy. Okay. Ogi-chan. Oshino Ogi? Excuse me? Oh, it actually does remind me of her. Great point, Araragi. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. What is happening? Where are we? Nah, but we stand Hachikuji though. Oh, hit it, girl. What am I looking at? It's like Tetris. Cute. Gonna need to read these lyrics too. Oh, big old snail shell. Explodes! What is this, Land of the Lustrous? Little reference for those in the know. Why did you just sniff her finger, then get scared? What's going on? What am I looking at? I really like the song. It's almost like this power poppy thing. It's very good. Mayoi Jianshi. I have no idea what a Jianshi is. Oh. Hello. I didn't expect to see you here very soon. Ononoki-chan. Yotsugi. Can I get an idea of the timeline, por favor? I like her voice. Oni-chan. Yeah, I wonder what her arc's gonna be like, if she even has one. Why are we at another traffic intersection? I think I've seen that gif of her doing that head thing tilt. Yeah, she did some weird shit with a poised look, yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah, you're embarrassed? Be nice to little girls? Oh, okay. You were dispatched? Your master. It's complicated. What? Oh, okay. You're a bit cagey around Shinobu. Makes sense. Kind of got pieced up by her. Oh, watch for that red light. Oh, yeah. Why are you wearing her backpack? Great point. Great point, Yotsugi. Why was she at your place? I don't think Hachikuji can forget that backpack. Oh, okay. Great idea of the timeline, thank you. She got ran over. Were you? Ha ha ha. He would like to still consider himself a human. Oh, it is very vague, actually. Yeah, what are you? It's complicated. Okay? Sukumogami. Is it just like you can grab whatever ice cream you want? Well, yeah. Doesn't like being beaten. Yeah, because it's a Monogatari character. Okay, you're not a Monogatari character. Cool. You're like a zombie. What is it? What is it? Yeah, I guess Araragi did die. Interesting. Okay. She continues to be dead. I guess you could say that, yeah. Why I was born. I mean, you have more reason to think about that. Is there meaning in life? Not necessarily. Why she died? Yeah, you did. Yeah, why we're all here? I know why Hachikuji became a ghost, I think. Yeah, the whole lost thing. She wanted to find her way back home. Yeah, I don't know why she stuck around. Interesting. Are we doing the chapter number thing again as well? Well, I think it is a big deal, actually. You didn't find the lost girl. Why not? Okay. You think it's futile? I see. Okay, Shinobu. What should he be worried about? Well, he's never been good at that. You could study more. Yeah, but... Boo. Do the homework. Do the homework, damn it. You may be stuck in a damn endless 8 situation. Is this another Doraemon? I think. Yeah, do the damn homework. Nobu. More streetlights and stuff. Traffic lights. What? We're going back up the hill. Running up that road. Why are we time warping? Oh no, please don't do time warping. I can't follow. Is this why you guys said I should keep a timeline? That sounds fishy. Yeah, it kind of does. Tori? Oh. It's like Star Wars-esque music. Count me surprised. A blast from the past. We don't have that sort of acting anymore. Yeah, it was very dramatic, actually. Oh, he opened the nether portal. Aragi's gonna fight a zombie pigman. Yeah. What else? Oh, that was very quick. Shinobi, you're pretty strong. Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, this place has got a lot of energy. As we learned in Nadeko Snake. Well, hop in. Hop in, soldier. I wonder what kind of time travel we're doing. Is he going to replace himself, or is he going to see himself? This is so strange. I wonder if this is like all fake. What about it? He can wear the watch wherever he wants. Okay. Strange. Hold hands. Yeah. Oh, he loves it. This is as lewd as the show's gotten. It's true. They do. I've seen it. Just get over it. Holding hands. What are you, like 12? You literally, like, flip skirts up for fun. What is it? I'm wondering if this is, like, real. And then how does the connection between the two become severed? Where are we? Okay. Does the watch go backwards? Okay, I believe you, Shinobu. Well, you just had band-aids, so you did fail. At least somewhat, right? August 19th. They go so fast. Oh no. Shirahebi. Good old Hebi. Did you spend that energy? It depends if they're temporal like that. Yeah. Great point, Araragi. Yeah. Oh no. Oh. That sounds like something you just made up. Oh, like a salmon in a river? Okay. Yeah, I doubt as well. Taipu? Yeah, are you going to talk about replacing? Ha ha ha. Don't sweat the details. They're very important details. Yeah, but won't that also create a paradox if he sees himself? Yeah, unless the watch went backwards. Doubt? I like how we're getting a little bit meta about our time travel story, too. Okay, Shinobu. Yes, yes, you can. Nothing strange. You can see her? Oh, yeah, it does seem like the uniforms are a little bit weird. Oh, May 13th. Okay, so 11 years in the past. He went 11 years and 1 month into the past. Again, okay. Oh, similar ED, or same ED, with different visuals? Interesting. But yeah, if you gave me a million guesses as to where Monogatari is going next, if you said time travel, like well done. I love time travel fiction, by the way, so this is fun. I've actually got a segment in my best of 22 video where I talk a little bit about time travel, maybe a little hint into one of the shows that I included there, for those paying attention. Okay, Araragi on the swing set. Yeah, who are these, like, shadowy figures following them in that little, like, flash forward we saw? But wait, how do the texts, like, to Hanakawa work then? Unless I'm wrong on my timeline. Shinobu Hachikuji Araragi? It was called Mayoi Jigyanshi or something? I need to look it up. What that second word even means. Riseto? And yeah, still stopping these. Apologies. Unless there's some post-credit stuff, which doesn't seem like there is. Righty, I gotta jump into a little bit of analysis on Mayoi Jianshi? Jianshi, episode 1, or Kabukimonogatari. Yeah, I don't know what the go was this week. I couldn't really get back into the groove of Monogatari as quickly as I normally do. Maybe it was the week off kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit. But yeah, this episode's kind of wild. It essentially comprises of two conversations, one with Orgi, Oshino Orgi, which is question mark, I don't know who that is, and then a conversation with Ononoki, or Yotsugi. So that's the first half. Then we start talking about being a ghost and that kind of thing, right? Oh shit, I just made a connection. Hachikuji would be alive, right? It was 10 years ago that she died. Yeah, Hachikuji would be alive, so we can actually answer some of the questions that Yotsugi was talking about. Interesting. Okay, that's where we're going, I think. Either way, we do this whole time travel Monogatari thing, which is insane. Insanity. Like, what are we doing? As I said before, I like time travel. It isn't a rote concept to me. I still find it enjoyable. Got to do it right, though. And they actually do a very meta segment where they very much explain their mechanics out in a very nerdy way, in which Shinobu isn't really interested, which I think's funny, because like she's like, "Don't sweat the details," and Aragi's like, "No, I have to sweat the details. It's time travel. It's very important that you sweat the details." I liked it. Thought it was funny. Actually, I had another thought as well about the conversation with Augie, a character that we've never seen before. Maybe that is something that happens 10 years in the past as well. Oshino Ogi. I don't know quite know how the names work, but is she related to Meme? That would make sense to me. We're going to say, I don't know. This is a very interesting start to this arc. Very much not where I thought it would go at all. One thing I wanted to do quickly, and I'm just going to look up when Nekomonogatari Shuro took place in the year. Okay, seemingly the connection that we have there is the whole Hachikuji missing backpack thing from the first portion of Nekomonogatari Shuro, so I'm imagining it's around the same time. The same time that Hachikuji has been missing. Okay, makes sense, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong, I just want to make sure that I have this right. Either way, I'll pop the episode up here, and we'll go through it. I don't know what level of detail we'll go through it in. I know there's an opening to look at. I don't think the lyrics in the ED changed very much, but we'll see there. The visuals certainly did. Either way, we're going to jump into our first conversation with Augie and see what we have to say. So, I think it's very interesting that our conversation happens at the very important, almost godlike staircase the first time we met Senjugahara for the first time in the first episode. So already bringing back that little connection there. Just on that wide of the school, I couldn't see anything apparently different. They're also still wearing this pink uniform, which is seemingly the indicator of what time period we're in. So I don't know what's going on there, but maybe this is present day. It would make sense. And we start with our conversation about traffic lights. Now, immediately with the traffic lights, I thought about our Goldilocks situation. I thought about our fake, real kind of thing that's going on. Are people inherently good, inherently bad, and who's in the middle? Yellow light, Oshino Meme, something like that. But did you know that there's a moment where every traffic light in an intersection turns red? Isn't that inherently very safe? I would believe so, yes. I don't know if that's how it works in Australia. I can't say I've ever really taken notice of it, but I don't know. It's just for safety reasons in case somebody tries to run a yellow. I think that's why it's there. But either way, they're coming up with some metaphorical reason as to why it exists, which is fun. Very Nissio-isin. Even this shot here, the one up the stairs like that, kind of rotating shot, very similar to the first episode. I recall all of Augie-chan's words in one go. You recall. So did this happen like way before, way in the past? There's also a connection between traffic lights and another first scene in the first episode of Monogatari, where there's like the traffic lights changing, and then we have a look at Hanakawa's undergarments, her panties per se. It's funny, just these connections to the very first episode I thought were a little bit weird, especially when we're talking about time travel. I don't know. I think time travel works best in this format. I have some criticisms about something like Steins Gate, which I knew going in was about time travel. So when they did the thing where there's a bunch of weird coincidences in the first episode, I'm like, well, that's just them going back in time. I think time travel is best when it's a secret, because then you don't notice all the weird stuff and it can surprise you later. So I don't know, I haven't noticed any weird Araragis in the background of other scenes. I wonder if we're going like full, I don't know, like Harry Potter with it, time turner type shit. Are we going to be seeing scenes that we've seen before play out from different angles? I don't know. It's opened up a whole other can of worms, right? Because the other inconsistency I thought about was, didn't Shinobu have her old servant that killed himself, right? I think that's how it worked. Couldn't she have gone back in time and saved him? Oh, she seemingly doesn't have much control of it and needs the power of a sight to control that power. I don't know. Seems like something that I would do anyway, try to convince him not to kill himself, but again, maybe there was some limits to it. Because she's less powerful now than she was before. And she could still time travel? That's kind of insane. Either way, character design on Augie, freaking terrifying. I don't trust you at all. You seem like a weird puppet person, almost in Kabuki-esque makeup, maybe? But yeah, you look like the evil character in, like, other Shaft shows. You know what I mean? I swear I've seen this type of character design before. It was either in Thrigatsu or Madoka. Probably Madoka now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, terrifying. Yeah, I don't get what Araragi's point here is about the traffic lights. He said that would cause more accidents, and it's like, well, it doesn't. It's actually really safe, and that's what Augie says. Everything comes to a halt at this 3 seconds, and then there's like a weird picture of almost this kind of wild metaphor we had before. So what I see here is a bunch of predator animals with maybe some prey in the background here, and the foreground actually, now that I'm looking at it. Like everything stops. Everybody's lives and natures stop for this 3 seconds. Is that what we're getting at here? A bunch of trashed traffic lights and some kabuki masks. I think they're kabuki masks. Maybe I'm wrong. They're like monster masks. I don't know. I'm not Japan pilled. I don't know. Conversely, there's never a time when all things are green. There's never a time when everybody is going. And the kind of the traffic lights come up throughout the episode actually. Everything stopping, time stopping. I don't know. I don't know where we're going. This is kind of crazy. If I designed it, I'd build a system that couldn't do that at a structural level. Everyone prefers safe over dangerous. Isn't the current system safe where it stays red? And then they're kind of lampshading how important this will be for the rest of the story here. We're saying, no, it's a pretty interesting story. You should pay attention. I'm formally announcing this. When the world is filled with red lights signaling danger, the world is safer than usual. But when it's filled with green lights signaling safety, it creates a place more dangerous than anywhere. Let me think about this. So when you stop, it's more safe, and when you keep going, it's more dangerous. So even though you have the go-ahead, it is more dangerous. Even though you are told to stop, it's more safe. This just makes sense to me. I don't see the contradiction here. I guess, yeah, okay, the green light is signaling safety, and the red light is signaling danger. I guess that's the contradiction, if you read it that way. Yeah. This is also in combination with our other Monogatari theme around street signs and what they mean, and this whole kind of urban theme, I guess you would call it, that we have going on throughout the show. This kind of very artistic, very architectural city that they all live in. Intriguing. This is just like kind of ideas segment of an arc, right? Where we're just throwing stuff out there, which will all come back later. I think back to Neko Monogatari Shiro just before. We had all these various themes and various different things that all came back during the arc's conclusion, and I found that really satisfying. So just keep all these concepts in your head is my point. Like how healthy food tastes awful and something that tastes good is basically bad for you and makes you fat. Depends on your tastes, but yes, I think that is actually an apt metaphor. Something that's good for you is also bad for you, and yeah, all these other things. That's just your body craving like sugars and fats, though. It's not. Anyway, we don't need to talk about diet stuff. The hiding of the eyes here as well, except for that one scene, just like not trustworthy, somebody with some nefarious intentions. Oshino Ogi. I'm fascinated. I want to know more about you. And then she gets a little bit atheist here. And then another weird point here. In reality, passing on a green, it just cuts the risk in half. I guess if you think about it in a binary format, you think about, like, if I go on the red, I'll probably be hit, and if I go on the green, I probably won't be hit. That is technically cutting it in half, but it actually cuts it by a whole lot more than that if you think about it in more than a binary format. It's a very weird way of seeing the world, I think she has. It's only slightly better than every light being green. Yeah, but then Araragi hits her with facts and logic as well. He goes, isn't it weird logically to even do anything anytime because there is some inherent risk to it all? If you think about risk in such a binary format. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I agree with Araragi here. That's all the more reason to say stuff like this. Someone such as myself should be saying such things. What a dangerous place this world is. Oh, how the world is peaceful, how it's full of dreams, hopes, and salvation. She's like doomer as fuck. That's crazy. How people were born to love each other and be friendly. Yeah, she's black-pilled. Somebody get us some help. Since you're intoxicated in your speech as you blab that stuff, you're easily caught off guard. Children in war zones, even without proper schooling, are more sound. Yeah, I disagree with her basically entirely. I don't. Anyway, I don't think she's meant to be agreed with based on her character design. I think we're meant to refute her. Either way, it's very interesting. Children in these war-torn countries, all their signals are red. They're more gluttonous around life. I don't think Ogu-chan wanted to teach you some trivia. I think she was telling an extended metaphor about the arc. Even look at these 3 circles here. Those could almost be, except for when there's actually 4. Never mind me. I was like, there's streetlights on the side. No, they're not, mate. Just calm down. I think she just wanted to impress me, but the 15-year-old girl named Oshino Ogi turns such stories into massive tales of life and principles. Sounds like a Nishio Sin character to me. The kind of black undershirt too. That's a little bit mad. And I'm reminded of that trivia alongside memories of Hachikuji Mayoi. It reminded me of those words along with the lost young girl who got ran over by a car during her arc. Well, not during her arc, well before her arc, but you know what I mean. She's associated closely with street crossings, let's say. Now, there was some kind of mad flash forward stuff that we saw here that I wanted to pause on as well. The instant she crossed on green, she was run over. So even though green indicates safety, it is inherently a little bit dangerous. And then how do we relate that to this whole ghost idea that we have with Yotsugi coming up? Very intriguing episode. Lots of ideas here. Because the ghost stuff is like, well, it's almost binary as well, right? It's alive and dead, but they live in this weird in-between between the two. Life, death, red, green, safety, danger. Weird. Weird ideas here, for sure. This is gorgeous, though. I love the colors here. The shading's sick. So we're on August 20th right now. They wanted to go back to the 19th when Hachikuji was still around so he could make sure that she remembers her backpack. Instead, we go all the way back to May 13th, 11 years ago. Now, I don't know when this season is set. I'm going to imagine mid-2010s somewhere. So we're going back to 2005-ish, let's say. Is a cell phone going to be anachronistic? Are people going to call that out if he has it out? I don't know. Are we going to go in that direction with the time travel? It's unclear. They're going to look at one of the labels on the clothes and say, hey, where'd you get this? Like that kind of stuff. But I guess it's weird that Araragi saw those 3 girls, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, right? Because he never sees, like, randos. That's the first time I've seen Araragi, like, talk with, like, randos before. This is a story that started with a petty concept, and then we go through these little scenes here. Like, what am I looking at here? This is like the goddamn playground, the park, and they're in like traditional Japanese garb, and they're fighting a bunch of shadow dudes. In the end, grew into a giant tale that was almost engulfed everything that was real. What do you mean by this? Like something greater than yourselves? Are these like multi-dimensional beings or something? Strange. That's the other side of this whole thing, right? Is that, hey, we can see Araragi when he's younger. Maybe he exists younger in this kind of time space, I guess you would call it. 10 years younger than he is now when he's like a, I don't know, 8-year-old. How old's Araragi? 7-year-old? But we can also see older Shinobu, so that's going to be weird as well. If Shinobu's around, I don't know. Yet more stuff. And then, who the fuck am I looking at here? Like, I'm dumbfounded. This looks like a character that I've seen before. Why? She's like a zombie hunter version of somebody that we've seen before. Is this freaking Hachikuji? Hang on. Let me look up Hachikuji on my phone. Yeah, like it's kind of similar, right? Weird. Very weird. Eye color and the color scheme in general? But she's like a zombie hunter. What is happening? And then into the opening. Okay. Weird one. So aesthetically, the opening focuses on Hachikuji, which is expected considering the arc is called Mayoi Jianshi, we're going to say. But the opening also seems to have this like weird tetromino aesthetic, almost like a Rubik's Cube maybe. Weird, walking through all these cubes, very, very straight line, very, not curvy, you know what I mean? If we're talking about shape analysis and that kind of thing. But the song's a bit of a bop. I really enjoyed it. Very poppy. Very Hachikuji, not quite as energetic as the previous Hachikuji opening, but all the more very welcome. When you help me, it lures me into thinking that nothing is truly impossible. You change my life, my unhappiness into happiness. I'm sure you'd find me wherever I am. This is almost like an Escher painting, kind of, right? A little bit with the angles and the characters walking at different ways and stuff. Always find me wherever I am. I guess, yeah, she is lost, right? But she's confidently walking. She isn't scared by it all. She still has confidence that whoever she's talking about, probably Araragi, will end up finding her. There's big old snail shell there as well, bit of weird perspective stuff. Each and every day my feelings grow stronger just a little bit. I don't want to go home yet. Very extremely Hachikuji lines based on what we know about her and her little quirks. It's cute. She's like she's driving or something. And there was also the little jumping, like, circle thing that she was on. Cute. Like it. Is that simple wish able to change destiny? I was lost, but never had a shred of doubt. Yeah, kind of in the way she's walking, right? Even the smiling kind of visage right now. I guess we got to think about it from this perspective. Why did she leave the backpack behind? And why is she lost? So the backpack you could see as a symbol of her old life, her memories, what she used to be before what happened, right? Some vestige that she's holding on to, some vestige of her youth maybe as well. Maybe that's why we see the weird, is it older Hachikuji we see later or earlier that I just saw? And why is she lost? Why does she not want to go back home? Is it something to do with this whole mortality conversation we have with Yotsugi? I don't know. I really don't. This season's been really good, by the way. This arc is already shaping up to be bonkers, and the last one was excellent as well. So, shoutouts Monogatari second season. When I met you, you always harass me and make fun of me. It's Araragi. I pretend to be upset and reflect on my simple happiness. Yeah, so I missed it there earlier. The snail shell exploded, and the snail shell is analogous to the backpack. So, losing the backpack, losing the shell, losing the thing that you hide inside of. And yes, now we're going to find out what a jianshi is, I think. Jiangshi. We will find out. A jiangshi, also known as a Chinese hopping vampire, is a type of reanimated corpse in Chinese legends and folklore. The characters for jianshi are read Goang Si in Cantonese, Kuang Thi in Vietnamese, Kyonshi in Japanese, and Gangshi in Korean. Strange. A Chinese hopping vampire. A reanimated corpse. So the reanimated corpse, that makes sense with what we're talking about with Ononoki here. But vampire is an interesting word as well. And maybe that's our connection to Gaian and Episode and all those people that we saw during Nekomonogatari Shiro. Immediately we're waiting at a stop sign with Yotsugi. I'm going to keep calling her Yotsugi, I don't know what one we're going to end up going with the characters, but that's what I'm going with. And yeah, she just kind of appears out of nowhere and starts doing her Yotsugi thing. She seemingly shows a little bit more emotion now. I'm guessing because she isn't being framed as villainously as she was in the past, where during that certain arc during Nisimonogatari, Tsukihi Phoenix, she was definitely antagonistic, where here she's just a character. She's allowed to show a little bit of emotion, a little bit of cuteness, which is fun. So we're straight back into an intersection as well, which is important. We're also doing the chapter thing, where this is 002, so seemingly these are corresponding to novel chapters. And yeah, Araragi finds it a little bit awkward, where he's reading these signs as Kaganui. Like, where is she? Where is she hiding? He's still nervous around her, because he kind of got the shit beaten out of him. Similarly, Yotsugi is nervous that Shinobu may be lurking around the corner because she got beaten up by Shinobu. Fun little connection there. But yeah, she isn't around. They're separated at the moment. Kind of continues on the conversation about this separation between the two. She's got a lot of freedom for a Shikigami. And then we started to bring up this concept of being lost. So you were lost when I first saw you as well, Yotsugi. You were asking for directions. Don't insult me. I just needed directions. That's fun. Wait, isn't that what being lost is? To ask is a moment's shame. To not is lifelong. I like that metaphor. I've never heard that before. Little saying. I like that. And then the head tilt, classic. Oh yeah, I've definitely seen the gif of her head like snapping like that. She has seemingly dropped the with a poised look thing she had going on before as well, and is seemingly really weird about doing it in the past. That is a black page in my history. I'll never make another poised look. Or posed look? Poised would be with an I, so yeah, posed. I've been saying that wrong. I read that she finds this embarrassing, so I think that's kind of funny. I don't really understand her archetype. The little meta stuff we still have going on with her is fun. So Araragi asks, what are you doing here? And then it's like, I didn't know I needed permission to enter. Is this your place, is it? Like, she gets really defensive. I came here because someone called me. Dispatched, you could say. Interesting. So we know that she was called by Guyan. If the timeline is lining up the same way I thought it was. Also, yeah, Araragi's carrying the backpack, so yes, the timeline is the way I think it is. Why would Guyan be calling about something that technically hasn't happened yet? If it's the same thing that we're talking about earlier, the whole time travel debacle with Shinobu. This little Chinese hopping vampire, what does that have to do with it? Does Guyan know something that we don't? Does she know everything? Is that why she's calling these people together? And yeah, she doesn't know any of the details. Interesting. As I said before, the kind of connection between Araragi being scared of Kaganui and then she being scared of Shinobu. Quite funny. And then, yeah, they cross the street. The light turns green and they cross. I'm wondering what this says to the metaphor. Maybe we'll learn later on. I wanted to talk about the locations that these two sit in as well. They're various locations from other scenes in the show. I think there was a scene where Hachikuji was sitting with Araragi, maybe here, or maybe it's the next one, but I definitely recognize it. They get to talk about Hachikuji and the backpack that he's carrying, so I'm chasing after her to deliver this to her. Makes sense. We've almost got these like very very African trees in the background, like the plains of Africa. You know, that's what they look like to me. I don't quite know the the breed of tree, but yeah, weird background for sure. And then she drops some big knowledge, old Ononoki. I was a human once too. And this is where we start our connection. You were once a human as well, Araragi, but even though you would argue that you are still a human. Yeah, according to One-chan, you are still a human. Does this have to do with our whole conversation about reals and fakes and that kind of jargon? If he's like Kaiki, then isn't it that's what it means to be human? Humans are inherently bad and try to be good, right? That's our kind of conversation there. So Araragi is still human because he is like this. I'm probably overanalyzing this a little bit, but it's very interesting to me. What Ononoki said, it was very shocking, like getting a confession out of the blue. Yes, it was. It was very random. She doesn't have a lot of conversational tact. Then we get into what aberration that Ononoki actually is. My basis is supposed to be a Tsukumogami. Tsukumogami, and a Tsukumogami based on a human that is also a Shikigami. I don't really know how it all works, but sure. I'm a Tsukugami of a human used for 100 years as a tool. Is that what we're getting at? Or a corpse that was being used. Well, Nichan tells me to keep this a secret. If I tell anybody, I'll have to kill them. So it's probably not all above board. A little bit more lampshading here, I believe. A little bit more fourth wall-y. Then you're actually over 100, yet you look like a kid. And then she's like, don't be ridiculous. I'm actually still considered a child. Just fun. A little bit of a lens to itself, maybe. But then it leads into another important conversation about when somebody's actually died and if they're still living, if they're reanimated, if they're reincarnated, if they're revived, essentially. And kind of the weird connection that she has with Araragi and Hachikuji. We all used to be human but died in different ways. So yes, she got run over, Hachikuji, and I don't know what happened to Ononoki, she was a tool or something. And Araragi got kind of killed by the vampire, killed by Shinobu. Killed. In your case, you became immortal. You became immortal the instant you died. It's another weird contradiction as well, isn't it? Well, very contradictory today. So you're still alive, Araragi. I've definitely died before. And then Hachikuji's somewhere in between. So she's been reincarnated. But the ghost girl, she hasn't come back to life yet in the same way that I have. I'm imagining this will be very relevant later. It's going past me a little bit right now. And here's the important question. When you think about all of our different situations with reincarnation, reviving, being dead, being alive, who is the happiest? Then she hits him with the, have you ever thought about why you were born? What your purpose in all of this is? Why are you alive and some other being isn't? I don't know, that's a very heady concept. Especially for you who has technically been born twice, I would say. I thought about that stuff in junior high, Araragi kind of saying that it's a little bit of a chuny thought, maybe. There has to be some meaning in it all. Maybe there isn't, I don't know. I don't know what conclusion we're going to come to here, and I don't really know how it's relevant to our time travel little plot. Besides seeing when Hachikuji was alive, I think. As she ate her eyes, she talked about aberrations with a blank expression and asked me difficult questions. She certainly is. And we talk about why Hachikuji was revived, essentially. Why is she still an aberration? Why is she still around? Why was she born? And we're going to ask Hachikuji that question, see what she has to say about it all. And here's the kicker, right? For most of these aberrations, right, we solve the issue and they go away. Why is Hachikuji still here? That was one of my initial questions way back when in Mayui's Snail. And I like that it's coming back here now. I think that's interesting. Ask her why she's still here, why she still appears like this, why she was born. These questions of her very existence. A Chinese hopping vampire that is also a reanimated corpse. And Hachikuji. Interesting. And then we pop into the second half of the episode, essentially, where we do our time travel thing. So the kind of plot itself goes like, hey, Araragi's like, well, I've got to ask Hachikuji this question. Should I ask her this question? Then Shinobu shows up and says, why don't you just ask her? And then he's like, hell yeah, I'll just ask her. But we also can't find her. So how do we find her? We go back in time. Makes perfect sense to me. I like the direction in this one part where there's kind of these blacked out scenes where Hachikuji kind of almost apparates out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Very ghostly. Like Araragi's closing his eyes and she keeps coming up in his brain. I think that's what we're getting at. Yeah, really racking his brain over how and when and where should he ask this question for Hachikuji. Then go grant these wishes. What are you worrying about, Shinobu says. She's very much a go-getter. I like that about Shinobu. She's like, well, go just tell her. Shinobu calls him out for not studying right now and worrying about Hachikuji instead. I'm also thinking about that weird character design we saw in the very start of the episode, the one that I believe is Hachikuji. If we somehow go back to regular time and Hachikuji is still alive, that's about as old as she will be now that I think about it. You add 10 years to her age, she's basically a little bit older than Araragi, I think. That's a little bit weird. That's a little bit mad, isn't it? They bring up the summer break homework and I get massive Endless 8 flashbacks. Ugh. And then there's a bunch of Nobita-kun stuff. I don't know what's going on there. As I thought, it's a Doraemon. Really likes Doraemon, huh? There's only 2 hours to go. Nobuemon, give me a time machine and I'll hop in and go back a day. So this is essentially the last hour or 2 hours before school is back. And then when Hanakawa is preparing for school that day, that's when all of our stuff in Nekomonogatari Shiro happens. Okay. Weird. So Araragi says, give me a time machine. She says no. Then we pan to outside and we see a light go from red to green. And then, well, if you merely want time travel, I can be convinced to help out. Interesting. So we've moved from something that's red indicating danger, which is safe, to something that is green that indicates safety, which is dangerous. This time machine is being conflated with danger, which is what we were talking about with Augie at the very start of the episode. So Shinobu says, let's do it. We get a lot of flashes of the scenery, and we come to a familiar location, which is kind of the Nadeko snake tree shrine place. And yeah, this place has always been good news, so let's come back here. Araragi has his doubts about this whole thing, that she can actually do it, but she does do it. She was the king of all aberrations. Of course she can do something like this. And yeah, we're going to use the Tori after this spell to travel back in time. I like how he also kind of, I don't know, almost parody these overdramatic scenes in these fantasy shows like this. She's very out of place. Like this big magical spell that's very magical. Almost, I said it was Star Wars-esque in the music as well. I don't know, I thought it was epic. We don't have that sort of acting anymore. This is a blast from the past. Very fun. It literally is a blast to the past as well. Yep, so you can see it from one side and not see it from the other. Kind of almost like a Minecraft nether portal, if you want to think about it that way. And there's some very, very, very fast subbing here. Something about almost fainting. I don't even know if I can see these. They go very fast. They almost can't even like observe it. Yeah, I can't see that. This went well for my first time. This should be another big danger sign. Don't go in this portal. It obviously isn't what you think it is. She's also weaker after losing her powers during Kizu, of course, so here we are. What does this have to do with Kabuki Theater? Here she explains a bit of the mechanics, like, yeah, I'm using the energy from this graveyard to establish this portal. That's why it works, that's why I can't do it all the time. Just be ready, just jump in like normal. Take that green light, even not seeing the danger that's right in front of you. Something like that, maybe. It's merely just time travel. Like, we're being a little bit dumb here. But it's fun, it's very, it's almost pulpy. So the dangers are probably not great. Despite that, I'm gonna jump in. And then we pop to a spot later in this kind of chronological story where the connection between Shinobu and Araragi has been severed. What happened there? We'll have to say. Shinobu is one of my favorites, by the way. I'm really liking Shinobu. Something about the watch that also goes back in time, and then she changes the time based on the sun. And she also calls him out for wearing it on the wrong wrist, despite him being not left-handed. Just such a random stray bullet from Shinobu. And then he gets all pressed about holding hands. Because he's Araragi. I didn't think about something as selfish as going back to the day before, but instead reflected on Hachikuji. Interesting. And as we're reflecting on Hachikuji, we maybe go back to a period where she's still alive. I like how each of these locations has a distinct visual style. Like, I'm picking up heavy Nadeko Snake vibes right now, especially those opening scenes. Very great lighting, great colors here. Of course we succeeded. I've never failed at anything since birth, as we see her legs that are covered in band-aids and scratches. Still keeping up that guise, huh? Very fun. Do we use those shrine gates to go back? Well, something like that. She didn't really think about going back now, did she? So now that we've spent that power on top of the temple, we can't use it again, because Araragi explains it would be a paradox where we couldn't use that power again to come back in the first place. And then I think she just makes this up. It takes less energy to return to the future rather than going to the past. Like a salmon going with the current instead of against. Interesting. I wonder if she's just bullshitted that. There's even these big, like, doubt signs on one of these screens here. Like again, Araragi has his doubts. I thought about the somewhat dangerous implications of time paradoxes. Dangerous. Red light, green light. We've gone against the very system of the traffic lights itself, right? We haven't stopped for anything. We've went back to before a position where we could have stopped. I don't know, this shit's breaking my brain, but it's already quite intriguing. I had big grand plans to watch 2 episodes today, but I've got no chance now. I've been recording for like an hour and 15 minutes. Like, Jesus Christ. Again, Shinobu just hits him with a stray. He's like, there's two types of time travel, one where they don't see you and one where they do. And then they're like, oh yeah, kind of like your high school classroom where they don't see you. It's like, ha ha ha. Just like absolutely trolling him. She's a little gremlin, that Shinobu. But yeah, he asks some important questions and then Shinobu snoozes. I think that's funny. I don't understand it well. Anyway, the question he's asking is, hey, if we go back and see me, does the me there exist? Have I moved in the current period of time to where I traveled back to, or is there now two me's? You know what I mean? If there is two hymns, that creates a whole other can of worms about time paradoxes, right? Anyway, I'm sure we'll get into it. Nissio Sen's a smart writer. I'm sure he has some solution to it all. I still like how he's essentially calling it out here as kind of boring and nerdy, which is, he's right. It is. Yeah, I don't understand the whole watch thing. She just changed it based on the sun, even though she said that she would hold it. Weird. I think it's a setup for later. She asks for a ride on his shoulders. He obliges. And yeah, we see a different uniform because these kids seem like they're in maybe middle school, maybe high school. I don't know. So the uniform difference may be a giveaway as well, is what I'm getting at. They don't really have this big pink uniform that the other kids or the other high school kids do in the story. Maybe the uniform changed somewhere along the line. Either way, it's now May 13th, but it's not just May 13th. It's May 13th, 11 years ago, and that is our big twist leading into the end of the episode. Okay, they're in junior high. Alright. And yeah, that's where we stop, and we get a little look at the snail in the ED. I think the visuals have changed here. I'll just flick through it quickly. But yeah, we're 11 years in the past, and I have heavily predicted that we're going to see Hachikuji before she's died. That's going to be what we're going to do in the past. It'd be fun if we get some little cute child Hanakawas and Senjugaharas. Maybe. That seems like not this show's kind of bag, though. So, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, still almost this African, like, safari aesthetic in the background. It's very strange. And these weird stick figure-esque figures, I'm guessing similar to, like, kind of the shade figures we saw before, are kind of following them wherever they go. It goes to the park, goes somewhere else, has a bunch of cans out of the vending machine, still following it. Now that I think about it, we can do a lot of fun stuff with time travel, especially with Shinobu, right? Because she's existed for 500 years. There's potential here for sure. I think what I'm seeing here as well is that character design we saw before, kind of this ribboned character with almost two pistols or weapons. Very strange. And again, I'm theorizing that it is Hachikuji, just on color scheme alone. But yeah, that's all for today. Again, as I said before, if you gave me a million billion guesses as to where this episode was going, time travel would not have been one of them. This is strange. This is not normal. I'm very excited for next week. I still don't know my structure. I don't know what I'll do. Please tell me if it's better to do one episode next week and two the next, or 2 episodes next week and 1 the next after that. What's a good stopping point between episode 2 and 3 in this arc? But yeah, other than that, thank you for watching. This episode was nuts. I talked for way too long about it, but again, that's what Monogatari does to me, baby. Just show stuff quickly. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join the Discord, love the Discord, Discord. Rightio, thank you for watching this week, and I'll catch you next week for more Monogatari. Rightio, catch you later.